Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this video, we're going to be doing something a lot different than I normally do. For this video, we're going to showcase how to save larval tears and how to make the most out of each damage stat, and then later in the video at the end, we're going to go over quality builds as well. I'll be showing what your rune level 75, 125, and 150 stats should look like, and all the different things you could do, or at least a lot of the different things you could do with each stat spread to save you larval tears and to allow your character to have a ton of versatility. We're going to start here with Arcane. We have the Occult Naginata we're using here for the first example on here, and that can heal us with blood tax, do good physical damage, and a good amount of bleed buildup as well. We are using the Ash of War Blood Tax. We have the Dragon Communion Seal plus 10, the White Mask. You don't need the Raptor's Black Feathers. The Rakshasa set is great here. Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Maleficent's Prosthesis, Rottenwing Sword Insignia, Shard of Alexander Talisman, and then we have the Thorny tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. For our buffs, we're using Golden Vow, Blessing Spoon, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Swarm of Flies goes well here too. And next up for example 2, we're going to show the Scavenger Curved Sword Bleed build. Based off of jumps, 4 jumps did 26,000 damage there. This is an Occult Affinity Bleed build that can absolutely shred. We're going to go into equipment now, and then a whole bunch of information about Arcane. We have 2 Scavenger Curved Swords in Occult Affinity with Seppuku Ash of War. We have the Dragon Communion Seal. We have the White Mask Raptor's Black Feathers, part of the Rakshasa set and Solitude set on. Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Maleficent's Prosthesis, Rottenwing Sword Insignia, we have the Claw Talisman, and then we have the Thorny tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. Our buffs are Golden Vow, Blessing Spoon, and of course Flame Grant Me Strength too. Alright, now for stats. At level 75, you should have 35 Vigor, 13 Mind, 18 Endurance, 16 Strength, 15 Dexterity, 15 Faith, and 35 Arcane. I hope me talking slower is helping here. We have 50 Vigor, 14 Mind, 23 Endurance, 16 Strength, 14 Dexterity. We have 25 Faith, and of course 55 Arcane. Then we have 60 Vigor at 150, 14 Mind, 27 Endurance, 16 Strength, 15 Dexterity, 25 Faith, and then we have 65 Arcane. Builds to try for Arcane: Occult Spinning Strikes Grave Scythe, Occult Nagakiba Double Slash, Occult Scavenger Bloodblade Ash of War, Dragon Communion Incantations, any incantations you have the faith for with Offhand Seal for boost, Occult Great Katana Overhead Stance, Mogren Sacred Spear, the Ash is entirely arcane, Bleeding Frost Scavs, Occult Weapons. You're going to want to grab the Rakshasa set and White Mask for this. The Talismans and Tiers are on here as well to check out. You're going to want to grab these ones that are on the right. And then for buffs, Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Blessing Spoon, and the best starting class is Bandit. And next one we're going to do is Dexterity. These are in alphabetical order, by the way, besides Quality, which is at the end, because Quality is more of a hybrid build. I just figured I'd include it because it's also popular and just uses 2 stats. If we were to do a hybrid builds, by the way, that would probably be a part 2. So let me know in the description if you want to see a part 2 with all the hybrid stats. In the meantime, back to Dexterity, which is a phenomenal way to play the game. This is a double slash Key Nagakiba build. You can do a lot of bleed buildup and physical damage as our first example. Let's jump into equipment. And we have the Key Nagakiba plus 25 with double slash and Bloodflame Blade. Any seal for buffs. We have the White Mask, part of the Rakshasa set on. We have the Shard of Alexander, Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Maleficent's Prosthesis, Rottenwing Sword Insignia, Bloodsucking Crack tier, Thorny tier. Our buffs are Golden Vow, Blessing Spoon, and Flame Grant Me Strength. And next up, we're going to showcase the Bolt of Gransax. This is a really cool weapon to check out if you're a Dexterity build, because lightning on weapons scales with Dexterity, which is going to be huge for versatility, gives you another damage type, and of course the Bolt of Gransax has incredible range, a good amount of damage, and it's really just a great weapon overall. Definitely one worth checking out for Dexterity builds. That's our second example here. We are going to jump into equipment now. And we have the Bolt of Gransax plus 10 preferably, any seal for buffs. We have the Rakshasa set on. You could hit 51 poise for this in the last build. Shard of Alexander, Lightning Scorpion Charm, Godfrey Icon, Ritual Swords Talisman, and then we have the Faith tier and Lightning tier, so we could use Golden Vow, Blessing Spoon, and Halashaburi too. And for our last example here for Dexterity, we're going to showcase Ice Spear, which has both Dexterity and Intelligence scaling. This will give you an option to use magic damage as a Dexterity build, which is really cool, giving you physical damage, bleed, magic damage, and of course lightning damage too on weapons because lightning scales with dexterity in that regard. This gives you a lot of variety and makes dexterity builds one of the best builds to use in Elden Ring. There's a reason why people love dexterity builds in Elden Ring because they have a lot of versatility, they have a lot of damage. Of course, if you have 10 arcane, the whole blood flame blade thing could work really well with keen builds on a lot of weapons with innate bleed. And then lightning's really cool as well on weapons. A lot you could do with dexterity. Definitely worth checking out if you've never run a dex build. We're going to go over equipment and then a whole bunch of information about dexterity. And we have the Keen Guardian Sword Spear with Ice Spear, any seal for buffs. We have the Rakshasa set on hit 51 poise, Shard of Alexander, Magic Scorpion Charm, Ritual Shield Talisman, Ritual Sword Talisman, and then we have the Faith tier and Magic tiers so we could use Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, and Hellish Rebury. For our level 75 stats, we have 35 Vigor, 15 Mind, 15 Endurance, 16 Strength, we have 40 Dexterity, and then we have 15 Faith. For our 125 stats, we have 50 Vigor, 18 Mind, 22 Endurance, 16 Strength, 55 Dexterity. We have 25 Faith, and of course you're going to want 10 Arcane. And for our 150 stats, we have 60 Vigor, 19 Mind, 26 Endurance, 16 Strength, 65 Dexterity, and 25 Faith. And again, you're going to want 10 Arcane. My starting class for all these was Hero, by the way. And dexterity builds and weapons to check out with these stats. Keen Spinning Weapon, Great Katana with Blood Flame Blade, Great Katana with Storm Blade, the Falks, Dancing Blades of Rana, Jumping Lightning Slash Bandits, Keen Repeating Thrust Nagakiba with Blood Flame Blade, Sword Dance Keen Nagakiba with Blood Flame Blade, Dragon King's Craig Blade, Keen Milady Wing Stance, Hand of Melania, Dragon Scale Blade, Raptor's Talons Keen with Blood Flame Blade. And on the right, talismans and tiers to check out along with armor, buffs, Golden Vow, Flame Grip, Strength, Blessing Spoon, how when you're using the Faith tier, best starting class Samurai or Warrior. And next up we have Faith. This is probably my favorite single damage stat in the game because there's so much versatility to it. For example, we're going to be going over a Black Flame build. We'll show a couple examples for Faith and then all the different things you can do once again with slides and information on Faith. Once again, I'm going to try my best to talk slowly and to give you the information so that you don't have to go through everything really, really fast. Of course, with the slides, I'm not reading all the ones on the right because you could just pause the slides as I'm just reading what's on them. Overall, though, there's a lot of information in this one because there's a lot you can do with Faith. I really, truly do love Faith in Elden Ring. If you've never tried a Faith build and you're looking for a fun time, it's definitely the best damage stat to try for both damage and fun. Let's jump into equipment. And we have the Erdtree seal plus 10. We have the Godslayer seal in our offhand. We hit 51 poise, Rakshasa set, Fire Scorpion charm. We have the Godfrey icon, Flox Canvas talisman, Erdtree's favor plus 2. We have the Flame tier as well as the Bloodsuck and Crack tier. Our buffs are Golden Vow, Blessings of the Erdtree, and Hellish Rebury. Now for example 2, and that's going to be Lightning. This is a pure caster build. Now if you're not using the Jellyfish shield, the best overall seal is going to be the Erdtree seal, giving you 353 scaling with our 80 faith. Then you're going to use an offhand seal, in this case the Gravelstone seal, for the damage boost. Let's jump into equipment. We have the Erdtree seal plus 10, the Gravelstone seal in our offhand. We have the Rakshasa set. Again, we have 51 poise, Lightning Scorpion charm, Godfrey icon, Flox Canvas talisman, Erdtree's favorite plus 2. We have the Bloodsuck and Crack tier, Lightning tier. We're using Ancient Dragon, Lightning Strike, Golden Vow, Blessings of the Erdtree, Hellish Rebury, and you can add the Priestess Heart as well. So a lot of these builds take advantage of the two-handed bonus to get the extra stats you need. I have 16 strength for all of them because I started with the hero class. I didn't want to start a specific class for each one because it probably would have taken forever, and honestly you need a little bit of strength anyway, and I needed 10 arcane for a lot of these. But with the case here, we're talking about the Blasphemous Blade. When you two-hand it, you could use it, of course. You can take advantage of the Ash, which is all faith. We have it at plus 10, Erdtree seal. We hit 51 poise. Fire Scorpion charm, Talisman of the Dread, Shard of Alexander, Erdtree's favorite plus 2, Bloodsuck and Crack tier, Flame tier, Golden Vow, Hellish Rebury, and Blessings of the Erdtree. For our rune level 75 stats, we have 40 vigor, 16 mind, 16 endurance, 16 strength, 15 dexterity, and then we're going to have 33 faith at this level. At rune level 125, we have 55 vigor, 20 mind, 20 endurance, 16 strength, 15 dexterity, and at this level we're going to have 60 faith, a good amount for seals too. And I changed my stats at the end here. This is what you're going to lead up to: 60 vigor, 20 mind, 20 endurance, 16 strength, 15 dexterity, and 80 faith instead of 70. Those stats on the left before, I made them a little bit better. Builds and weapons to check out: most caster builds, the Erdtree seal is great. Euphoria, add Divine Beast Helm or Maleficence for some of these. Coated Sword, Bandit Jumps Flame Art, Black Knife, Gargoyle's Black Blade, Flame Spear, Sword Lance, Great Club, Prayerful Strike. You got a two-hand that. Envoy's Longhorn, same thing. Fire Knight's Great Sword with Divine Beast Helm, any Flame Art or Sacred build. Have basic stats for a talisman and tiers to check out are on here. For their buffs, we're going to have Golden Vow, Hellish Fury, Black Flames Protection. You could use 2 for some defense. Blessings to the Erdtree. Best starting class, in my opinion, is Confessor. I hope this is helpful so far. We're going to jump into intelligence now, which we have 2 examples for. The first one's going to be Death's Poker, because the ass scales entirely with your intelligence stat, which is going to lead to our second example, which is going to be a caster build. You could do both with the same stats, which is awesome. There we even added in Renala's Full Moon, which is usually a debuff, but in this case finished off a Gil. Jump into equipment here. We have Death's Poker plus 10. We have Lucett's Staff, which is going to be your best staff at 70, 80 intelligence around there. Any seal for buffs. You could check out our armor set, part of the Rakshasa set. Shard of Alexander, Ritual Swords Talisman, Magic Scorpion Charm. We have the Godfrey icon for anything like Comet that you want to add in, or Night Comet, Magic tier, Faith tier, and our buffs are Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, Hellish Fury, Terra Magica, and Renala's Full Moon. For our next example here, we're going to show off Night Comet, of course, which you could use with the exact same stats. So if you're ever struggling in Elden Ring, this is the perfect build for you. By the way, 20,000 damage on 2 hits there. Night Comet is really powerful with 2 Staves of Loss. If you only have one, your main staff can be Lucett's Staff. Keep in mind, though, it does use more FP. That's something to always consider when using Lucettes, since we have a decent amount of mind, but not a crazy amount of mind, so that's something to always keep in mind. Even so, it's a very powerful staff with high scaling. Let's jump into equipment. I said mine there way too much. We have 2 Staves of Loss. You only need the 1 upgrade you're casting with. Any seal for buffs. You can check out our armor set. Rakshasa set's awesome here. Graven Mask Talisman, Ritual Swords Talisman, Magic Scorpion Charm, Godfrey icon, Magic tier, Faith tier, Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, Hellish Fury, Terra Magica, and Night Comet. And for your rune level 75 stats, you're going to want 30 vigor, 17 mind, 15 endurance, 16 strength, 17 dexterity, 40 intelligence, and that's pretty much it. As far as that, you could use Golden Vow, Ash of War. We have 50 vigor, 20 mind, 17 endurance, 16 strength, 17 dexterity, 50 intelligence, 23 faith at our rune level 125 stats. For 150, we have 50 vigor, 22 mind, 20 endurance, 16 strength, 17 dexterity, 70 intelligence, 23 faith, so that we can use the faith tier and then do a bunch of buffs for our intelligence builds. And builds to try out with these stats: the Dark Moon Greatsword, Lucette Staff Caster build, Shard Spiral, and Comet. Cold or Magic Dryleaf arts tend to have good magic scaling. Ice Spear and Cold or Magic, Meteorite of Astal, Glintstone Chris, Magic Milady, Death Ritual Spear with Maleficence, Magic Affinity, and some Cold Affinity weapons, Comet Azure. Talismans and tiers, they're there to check out if you want. Spellblade set and Rakshasa set are great here. As far as our buffs, Golden Vow, Hellish Fury I really like, and the best starting class for intelligence builds, in my opinion, is Astrologer. And the next one up here we have is Strength, our last stat on here before we go into quality builds. And Strength can be a lot of fun. There's a lot you can do with this as well. We're going to start with a Savage Lion's Claw Guts build and show a couple examples here. Let's jump into equipment for this one. And we have Heavy Guts Greatsword with Savage Lion's Claw plus 25. We have the Frenzy Seal because it's weightless. We have the Rakshasa set on. Shard of Alexander, Two-Handed Sword Talisman. Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, Erdtree's Favorite plus 2. Green Burst Crystal tier, Bloodsuck and Crack tier. Our buffs are Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, and Flame Grip and Strength. And the next one up here is going to be a Heavy Great Stars build with Blood Flame Blade and Wild Strikes. You can get a lot of bleed build up this way, get a good amount of strike damage too. This is something you do with the same exact stats. That's the whole idea behind all these. A lot of versatility. You can jump from something like Lion's Claw to a bleed build. Let's jump right into equipment. And we have the Great Stars in Heavy Affinity with Wild Strikes. We're using Blood Flame Blade, Frenzied Seal again, White Mask, part of the Rakshasa set on, Knight's Cavalry chest piece, Shard of Alexander, Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Rotten Wing Sword Insignia. We have Maleficent's Prosthesis. Then we have the Thorny tier, Bloodsuck and Crack tier. We're using Blood Flame Blade, Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, and Flame Grip and Strength. And something cool you could do, because fire affinity scales with strength, is a jumping fire build with the Gargoyle Twinblades and fire affinity. You'll get a lot of AR around 700 or so, I think over 700, and you'll do a lot of successive attack damage too. This is definitely one to check out. Let's jump into equipment for this one. And for equipment, we have two Gargoyle Twinblades with Flaming Strike on both and Fire Affinity, the Frenzied Flame Seal because it's weightless. We have the Raptor's Black Feathers, part of the Rakshasa set on, Claw Talisman, Fire Scorpion Charm, Rotten Wing Sword Insignia. We have Melissen's Prosthesis. Then we have the Thorny Tier, Bloodsuck and Crack Tier. Our buffs are Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, and Flame Grim Strength. For our Rune level 75 stats, we have 40 Vigor, 15 Mind, 23 Endurance, 31 Strength, 12 Dexterity, and of course we have 15 Faith. That'll allow you to use Flame Grant Me Strength. Golden Vow Ash is good too. For our 125, we have 50 Vigor, 18 Mind, 28 Endurance, 50 Strength, 15 Dexterity, and then we have 25 Faith, so we could use Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. And then at 150, we have 60 Vigor, 18 Mind, 33 Endurance, 60 Strength, 15 Dexterity, and 25 Faith. Keep in mind, when you two-hand any weapon, you'll get the 1.5 times bonus. And builds, weapons to try out with these stats. Heavy Spinning Strikes, Grave Scythe with Bloodflame Blade, Starfist with Bloodflame Blade. We have the Giant Crusher on here, of course. Heavy Double Slash Starting Katana with Bloodflame Blade. Knight Rider's Glaive and Heavy Affinity with Giant Hunt. Great Sword of Solitude. Beast Claws and Heavy with Bloodflame Blade. And then if you use the Divine Beast Helm or Melissen's Prosthesis, Milady Flame Screwer is really good. And Fire Affinity, Fire Knight's Great Sword. And then any heavier Fire Affinity weapons. Talisman and Tiers are on the right. You're going to want Rakshasa set and White Mask. Best class is the Vagabond, and I like Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. And then lastly on here, we have Quality. This is not technically a stat. This is based off Strength and Dexterity, but I'm going to give you some good quality stats here that you could do a whole bunch of different builds with. The first one we're going to showcase, of course, is Bloodhound's Fang, because it's absolutely amazing. Let's jump into equipment for this one. And we have Bloodhound's Fang plus 10. We're using Bloodflame Blade. We have the Dragon Communion Seal. That's a weightless seal we could use. Raptor's Black Feathers, White Mask, part of the Rakshasa set. Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Shard of Alexander. We have Melissen's Prosthesis for some added dexterity. Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman for defense. Greenburst Crystal Tier, Bloodsuck and Crack Tier. And then we're using Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Bloodflame Blade. And next up on here is our second example, which is a quality Zweihander. Still can't say that word right, apparently. We're using Royal Knight's Resolve. Of course, we're going to get a lot of damage with this one. We can do pierce damage with this weapon, and it also scales really well in quality affinity. We get decent AR, pretty good AR with our quality stats. Just something else you can use, and definitely a weapon worth looking into. This hippo got the best of me for a second, but I do want to mention, if you like these tutorial type videos, be sure to comment, and then I'll do all the hybrid stats, Strength, Faith, Dex Arcane, Strength Arcane, Faith Arcane, all that stuff. Basically all the hybrid builds in one video after this one for another tutorial video, and then different things you could do with those stats as well to try to basically save larval tiers and make the most of your stats. Let's jump into equipment. We have the quality Zweihander plus 25 Royal Knight's Resolve. We have the Dragon Communion Seal. You can check out our armor set there. It's pretty cool looking. We have the Two-Handed Sword Talisman. We have the Spirit Talisman. We're doing pierce damage, which is cool. Axe Talisman. Blade of Mercy if you get any posture breaks, Spike Crack Tier, Bloodsuck and Crack Tier, and then our buffs are Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, and Flame Grant Me Strength. And our level 75 stats have 35 Vigor, 16 Mind, 20 Endurance, 20 Strength, 30 Dexterity, and then we have 15 Faith, Flame Grant Me Strength, and then use the Golden Vow, Ash of War. At rune level 125, we have 50 Vigor, 17 Mind, 24 Endurance, and then we have 30 Strength. When you two-hand a weapon, though, you'll have 45 Strength, 40 Dexterity, 25 Faith, so we can use Golden Vow, Incantation, and Flame Grant Me Strength. Then we have 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 27 Endurance, 34 Strength, that's over 50 when you two-hand a weapon, 45 Dexterity, 25 Faith, once again, to use Golden Vow, Incantation, and Flame Grant Me Strength. Weapons to try out for a quality build is we have the quality Great Katana with Stormblade. That's a cool one. Quality Milady with Wing Stance. The Falx gets good damage with these stats. Quality Omen Cleaver with Bloodflame Blade Wild Strikes. Quality Rotten Great Axe with Braggart's Roar. That'll give you a lot of rot build up. Bolt of Gransax, you'll get a little less damage, but you could use it here. Quality Claws with Bloodflame Blade. Talismans and Tiers are on the right. The buffs I like for this one are Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Blessing's Boon for a lot of these. The best starting class for a quality build, in my opinion, is the Vagabond. I guess the Warrior would work too, or Samurai too. And thanks for watching this one. Thanks for tuning in to basically my best stats that I can give you at 150, 75, 125, 150 to have a versatile stat spread and use a whole bunch of different builds. Be sure to sub if this helped you out and maybe helped save larval tiers or helps you switch on the fly. There's a lot of options here. There's a lot you can do with a single stat spread. I hope I showed that, and I hope the examples were good too. I will catch you guys in the next video.